Hello there, this is David of Liberty Guys. I'm posting my video response to Shadow Concealment's DIY project. I'm sitting here in my Jeep CJ5. It's a 76 model. I've built this thing into I would call it a mild to moderate trail rig. It's not a trailer queen. You can drive it to the trailhead, drive it home. It does have 411 gears and a low range transfer case, but the engine and transmission are completely bone stock other than that. But you know, I have lockers in this, things like that. But one of the things that made this vehicle unique to me, especially I was like a favorite on the trail, was the onboard air system. Now I'm about to cut scene here and show you my air system that I did myself completely from scratch. I'm trying to warm the Jeep up. It ain't been cranked in a few weeks. This is my DIY project. An onboard air system for a Jeep CJ. Alright. Okay. These two are the winch. This one's unused currently. This switch actually controls the onboard air compressor clutch. If I turn this on, I don't know if you heard it load up, but I'm running the compressor right now. You can hear it coming on and off there. Alright, we're going to go under the hood now and I'm going to show you the system as it is. I think I'm going to shut the vehicle off for the description because it's kind of loud under the hood with the headers and all that mess. Alright, what we have here is your run-of-the-mill York air compressor right off of a Ford vehicle of some sort. It's honestly, it's probably from an American Motors because of the pulley and clutch are smaller. Fords are the same, except they have a larger clutch and flywheel. These were used extensively through the 70s and early 80s as air conditioning compressors on American-made vehicles. What I've done is I've drained all of the special compressor oil out and put regular 30-weight motor oil in this crankcase. There's a little screw hole right here. That's your fill level. You don't fill it all the way up to there. You make a dipstick, you only want like 3/4 of an inch in the bottom. It's got a slinger in it like a little lawnmower. That's where you put the oil in it at. There's a drain on the bottom. I can't get down there to it, but I made these two caps out of aluminum. This one has got an air filter on it. This filter is just over a piece of tubing that I've cross drilled holes in to allow air to enter it. This keeps the dirt out of the compressor line. Then this one has this piece of stainless steel tubing. I bent the loop in it for vibration so that as the engine moves while it's idling, it's not jerking all of this mechanism around as bad. And then I've got an oil separator because these compressors are bad to blow oil into the system. Then a check valve. Then it comes out of this, and I worked it around all the brake lines to get it to fit. And it comes right back down through here, and it goes up in between the fender and into this 4-inch square steel tube bumper that I've sealed off. This way the bumper does two jobs. It bumps, protects the front of the vehicle, and it holds my compressed air when I need it. I don't carry it, I don't drive it around with charge on the bumper, and I'll explain why in a minute. It'll charge it up pretty quick, but it's not real safe to drive around with a pressurized vessel on the front end of your vehicle when you're trail riding. Now I've got a drain. I charged it a second ago. If I crack this valve, it's got air in it right now where I was playing with the switch. Alright, now I've got a gauge. The gauge is broken currently. I hit a limb with it. This is really important. This is a safety valve set at 180 psi. That way I don't over pressurize this bumper should my pressure switch I'm about to show you fail. It'll keep me from blowing this up. Then I've got an obligatory quick air chuck. On this side of it, you'll see there's a little air fit in here with a hose that's run along with the winch wiring. It comes back up under the hood to a regular air pressure switch. This pressure switch is wired through a fuse to power. It goes into the pressure switch, out of the pressure switch, across, into the dash through the on-off toggle switch I showed you, and then right back out to here. And we've just got it wired to the clutch. Now, what that means is I didn't come off of accessory, which I should have done. I should have wired a relay so that the compressor would only run when the key is on. That way the engine would be running. And in my ever-present geniusness, I forgot to do that. So mine will run the battery down if you forget to leave the switch on. I do have an LED on the dashboard or the, no, it's an illuminated switch. Let's see. I don't know if you can tell it or not. No, looks like the illumination circuits went bad. I tried to blink, but that switch was illuminated at one point. But yeah, if I switch it, you can hear it. You can actually see the clutch close in. And that's what makes it go. We had to build the mounting bracket from scratch. It's mounted off of the engine, off of a couple of hard points. I also added power steering to this Jeep. I had to make my own mounting brackets for the power steering pump too. So I've incorporated my air compressor mount in with my power steering pump mount, and it's all down in there. Let's see if I can get some light on this subject. You can't. There's where it attaches there, and then there's a mount here, and then I got one more on the back. Yeah, there's a support bracket back here that goes down to the back side of the bracketry to mount it all up. That gets the compressor nice and tight and square. And that's pretty much it. You got, you know, there's a little bit of machine work. We had to machine them little caps to replace the quick attach fittings to get it on there. But yeah, it's just, it was all completely customized, you might call it. It's not complicated at all, but it did allow me to change tires on the jet trail with an impact wrench. It allows me to replace these hubs and change broken axles much easier. I have been into that point of this Jeep down in here changing these axles out before, and an impact wrench is really nice. So there's my DIY project, onboard air for a Jeep CJ. Now I want to go ahead and get that note I was going to say. I don't drive around with a pressurized air tank on the front of the Jeep because I run 160 psi of air. And the reason I run 160 psi is because I only have like 1.5 or 2.5 gallons of storage in that bumper. So to make up for lack of storage, I run high pressure. I've pressure tested that bumper to 250 psi, and there was no dimensional variation in it whatsoever. There ain't no telling how much pressure that thing could hold. It's over 1/4 of an inch thick. It's not, you know, it's not very flimsy. When I pumped it up to 250, we put an indicator, or actually dial calipers on it, measured it, and then when we let the air out, we measured it again, and it measured exactly the same. So you know, it's not swelling at all at 250. So when I run 160, I'm well underneath the pressure test factor that I worked up to take it. But I do run that safety valve at 180 just in case my pressure switch doesn't cycle on and off properly. The pressure switch there will build to 160, cycle off, and then at 120 it cycles back on. I've got a 40 pound pressure differential, so that it'll pull down to 120 and then cycle on. Because if you're using the air hose to pump up like a 35-inch off-road tire, you'll pull that tank down and that thing will run. It'll pull down to, you know, 15, 20 pounds, and then it's having to build up to fill up the bumper and the tire is what happens. That bumper will charge up a regular car tire just fine. It'll charge up a 33 1250 pretty good. It'll get it up to about 12 pounds. It'll get it up to trail pressures. But for impact wrenches, it works great on lug nuts. Life is good. So, but yeah, that's why I like to drive with the bumper not pressurized. So once I get done with the job, we cut the air off and then we bleed down the bumper. It also makes me not forget and leave my switch on and run my battery down. But yeah, I appreciate it, Keith. Good idea. I like your idea on this project idea. The video responses are a great idea. Thank you.